Hey, good evening, guys. How are we tonight? What is happening? Give me a shout out in chat if you can hear me okay. We are still working on Relic Contemptor. I feel like this Contemptor is never going to be finished, but we will work on it a bit tonight. I'm going to start with a little bit of dry brushing on this base. This Contemptor is making progress. Left-hand Texan, doing well. Good evening, brother. How you doing? Nice to hear you. Time is it in Texas? Like 2:15 in the afternoon or something? No, not quite 2:15. I think the time difference is about 6 hours, maybe 4:15, something like that. So I got some Tyrant Skull here, which I dry paint, which I like to use on my bases. I always find it difficult to know how much paint to have on the brush for this, because I'm just going to be doing 3:15. Alright, I was close. I'm just going to be catching some of the sand on top of these bases with some Tyrant Skull. But yeah, I've had quite a busy day actually. Had to drive like about 150 miles today. Had to go to the hospital with my wife for figuring out when we're going to have this baby. Turns out we're having the baby on Tuesday. I'm currently stationed at Cannon Air Force Base, New Mexico. Oh right, New Mexico, so not Texan time. Okay. The only Air Force base I know in America is Cheyenne Mountain Base, because I love Stargate SG-1. And they were based out of Cheyenne Mountain, if I remember correctly. I really hope that at some point they bring that show back. Honestly, it was the best show ever. I always thought a video game for Stargate SG-1 would be great as well, but... So... How is the weather in New Mexico? I bet it is lovely. In Scotland today, I was driving through snow, I was driving through rain, and yeah, I mean the roads were fine enough, but it always feels a little bit dangerous when you're driving through sleet and snow and crap like that. So cool. Abstract digital recordings. I got nothing to paint until Hatchet Patchwork sort out. Still no Imperium 3 to 6. I got 7 to 10. But 7 to 10 are a waste of time? Thank you, Dave. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting birth. There's they basically advanced the birth like a month. There's something not quite right, so hopefully they can sort it all in the hospital. I mean, the doctors usually are pretty good, so I guess we're just hoping that it can all be sorted. But yeah, the due date was actually like the 6th of January, so they basically moved it forward a whole month. So my next couple of weeks is going to be a bit of a nightmare, because my wife will be in hospital like about 75-80 miles away from here. And I'll be stuck at home with a 2-year-old, and as well, there's no visitors because of COVID. So like, there's literally no visitors, so like no one else can go visit my wife at the hospital. They just said, we asked them today, and they just said, yeah, the children's hospitals, because of COVID, and especially because of Omicron, or whatever the new COVID strain is called, there's no visitors. I'm waiting for Bolter Inceptors and a Macroplasma to dry from priming. Nice. Bolter Inceptors and Plasma Dreads are kind of two of my favourite units, actually, in 9th edition. I think they're both really strong. I like them both. I kind of thought that after I didn't win that tournament, I was going to include the Bolter Dreads in my... sorry, not the Bolter Dreads, the Bolter Inceptors in my list. Like, I genuinely thought, like, yeah, I'm going to include them again, but, like... I've run that Impulsor now twice, and I actually kind of like the Impulsor, so I'm not sure. I didn't think I would like the Impulsor as much as I've liked it, so I need to run it a few more times. If the Impulsor starts not performing, then I'll be running Bolter and Scepters in my tournament list, because in my previous tournament, I actually think the Bolter and Scepters were really, really strong. Good evening, dear Commander. I need advice. I'm now building my first 5 Sangre Guard and watching your video on the Sangre Guard. So my question is, do I need a Sangre Ancient? I think you need a Sangre Ancient if you have a lot of Sangre Guard. And by a lot, I would say over 15. I think if you're going to run less than 15 Sangre Guard, I probably wouldn't run the Ancient. Well, when I say 15, I probably mean like 15 jump pack units. Because the Sangre Ancient benefits... I mean, the only reason to take him is to take the Wrath of Baal, right? So that all your jump pack units get plus 2 inches to move. So if you're going to run enough, like, if you're going to run more than 15 jump pack units, then there's an argument for taking the Ancient. If you're not going to run that many, I'd probably say don't build an Ancient. Yeah, I think that's probably about right. You probably need to have 15 units to make it worthwhile, because it is a CP to take the Relic, and I mean it only benefits jump pack units. But I mean, I have 2 Sangre Ancients, and I have not run either of them now in I haven't run them in 2021. So this is December now, and I play a game every week on stream, and sometimes I go to tournaments as well. 72 degrees and sunny. Well, enjoy it if you can. Lucky Jim got a Librarian Dreadnought. Nice. Plasma for days. Plasmas are good. The plasmas are just so expensive. I don't disagree that they're I don't think they're a bad unit. I just think they're super expensive. 60 points per model. They're only a 3-wound infantry. Dave Pikey says, doctors are great. Me and my wife had a high-risk pregnancy, albeit 8 years ago. She was high-risk due to several gunshots. It's quite the success story. Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, doctors are great. And in fact, last time we were at the hospital in childbirth, my wife possibly could have died because she lost like quite a lot of blood. So they had to do like emergency surgery, and like the doctors saved her life. So I'm hoping that these doctors will save the life of our baby, or fingers crossed. So that's happening on Tuesday. So I guess I actually don't know what's going to happen, but I guess if you don't see me as much in the next week or so, I'll try and keep you updated, like you said, in Discord and stuff. But yeah, there might be a little bit of a disruption to normal operations while I have to trek back and forth, because the hospital here is pretty far away. Stop getting shots. Show us your 16-bit playlist. My playlists are all from Streambeats, so you can just go to streambeats.com. All the music is royalty free. It's done by a guy on YouTube called Alpha Gaming. I like this sort of like chilled lo-fi music, I guess is what you would call it. Like it's very ambient, maybe? I mean, I've had a few people tell me that my music choice on this channel is horrible, but I kind of like it to just fill the background and have some noise. Mango Smasher's coming in with a raid. Thank you so much, Mango Smasher. How many people came in there? I'd say I'm a noob at Twitch. I'm building up my followers, but it has been slow going on Twitch. Most of my content is from YouTube, but I appreciate the raid nonetheless. I will add you and maybe hit you back with a raid sometime. Follower since 2 minutes ago. Okay, thank you. How do I follow people back? Mango Smasher. He obviously paints mini and he's got 3,500 followers. Okay, awesome. I will give you a follow back, Mango Smasher. Thank you for the raid, I appreciate it. Dave, positive vibes. I appreciate it, guys. I'm hoping, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed. Positive vibes as well. So Tuesday, my wife will have a C-section in the morning, and then the afternoon they'll I think they said that they'd give the baby like a drip to make sure his blood sugar is up high enough, and then they'll take him into surgery as well. And I mean, there's nothing we can do. We just have to hope that whatever they find that's wrong with him, they can fix it, you know. But Yeah, it'd be a bit of a troubling time. I use Hellblasters anti-elite infantry. Strength 6 is pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I built 10 Hellblasters at the start of this edition. Well, it was actually the start of last edition. You know, when you got 10 Hellblasters in the what was the box set that had all the Hellblasters in it? Dark Imperium, was it? So I built all those Hellblasters, but honestly, I've only used them in a few games. I mean, I like the idea of Hellblasters, but what puts me off Hellblasters is the points cost, right? They're, you know, am I right in thinking they're like 33 points per model, so they're like more expensive than a Sanguinary Guard? Do you feel like you get more value out of them than a Sanguinary Guard model? I mean, I guess that's a tough call. What green am I using? I'm what for the laurels and stuff? I use Warpstone green. Is it? Oh, sorry, Warpstone Glow, not Warpstone Green. I would have, if you'd asked me that, I would have 100% thought it was Warpstone Green. But no, I use Warpstone Glow for a lot of the laurels and stuff, and I usually do a wash of like Null Oil over the green, and then maybe like a little bit of a highlight back with the green, because I don't actually know what color you should wash the green, but Null Oil seems to work quite well. It picks out some of the details, and then you can tidy it up again afterwards. At the moment, I'm just picking out some of these stones on the bases, because I've got some other bases like this where there is like these little stones, and I've kind of done them all the same. So I'm gonna paint a coat of Dawnstone over all these stones. Then again, I'm gonna Null Oil them just to darken them up. I think I actually do 2 coats of Null Oil on stones like this. It just makes them look a little bit more realistic. And I'm also gonna paint these bullets underneath him. I don't know why do Volkites have bullet shells? I actually don't know. No one overcharged with Chapter Master rerolls. Yeah, I mean, here's the problem with Hellblasters though, is like against Death Guard, I guess you're kind of, or Death Guard against Dreadnoughts, you're kind of neutered a little bit with those Hellblasters, right? Christoph, hello, how you doing? Stephen says, Sup Commander, I got first tournament on Saturday with Blood Angels. Nice, Stephen. Have you got your list all sorted? Are you all prepped for your tournament? Are you going to do some homework? Because I think homework before a tournament is going to help you a lot. I did a couple of streams before the last GT, like the night before and also after day one, looking at like all the lists that I could potentially fight, and like just trying to work out like, is there something in these lists that are going to trip me up that I don't know about? Because there always is, right? Unless, of course, you buy every codex and you read every codex front to back, which I most certainly do not. And we got 7 people viewing over on Twitch now, so thank you. 13 it says. Thank you so much for the raid, I appreciate it, Mango. I will hit you back at a raid sometime. I usually get more viewers when we're doing live battles as opposed to my painting, because my painting is more of a battle-ready style than like a professional painting style, I guess. But yeah, we were just talking on Monday night, like, I've played, in the last 16 games that I've played as Blood Angels, and I think 12 of them being on the channel, I've won 15 games, and on the channel I've won 12 out of 12. So, yeah, I seem to get more viewers because I guess people that are maybe struggling to win games as Blood Angels can tune in and see how I win against the meta armies week on week. We don't have a Drukhari player in my local meta. I need to find somebody that plays Drukhari that can be available more often, because I've played a few games recently against Admech. I played them in that tournament. Mind you, I played Drukhari at Clan Wars. I played them twice. So, like, I do okay against these armies, but I think even with the changes, they're possibly some of the toughest armies, right? Gotta paint a few models tonight after work. I know that feeling. It's not a tournament unless you're painting models like the night before, is it? Or maybe not the night before, like the week before. It always feels really good when you've got a tournament up and there's like 3 or 4 days to the tournament and you're like lean back in your chair and like, I have nothing to paint, I did it. I already actually played with this model at a tournament and like it was not, because they came over like during the tournament and they were like, do you want to enter your army into best painted? And I was just like, nope. And they're like, why? And I was like, because this guy is not even close to finished. And that tournament was like 3 or 4 weeks ago at this point. So I've been painting this guy for like 10 plus more hours since then. I still don't think he's even close to finished. So it was quite funny that they were like, are you sure you don't want to enter in best painted? I was like, yeah, it's pointless. If I win best painted, I know it's rigged because my army is definitely not best painted here. I only made this Volcon like 2 or 3 weeks before that tournament, because before then I was running 2 Redemptors and 1 Volcon, and it was only after I started using my like first Volcon and I was like, actually these Volcons are just kind of stupid how much damage. They're just so much reliable than the Redemptors, it feels like. And I like Reductor Dreadnoughts, don't get me wrong. I mean, I ran them the entire edition and I bought 3 of them this edition. Oh, I maybe had 1 from last edition, so I bought 2 then. But no, I bought 3, so I basically have all 3, and I converted the one that I had before from converted it into the plasma, because I think the plasma on the Reductor Dreadnoughts is like so much stronger. So Hellblasters are reliable firepower against hordes and infantry. I use other stuff against armor. I get the assault plasma version to get the 3 shots and the 1 damage. Strength 6 -4. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's valid. I mean, I don't dislike Hellblasters. I painted 10 of them myself. I always considered running Assault Hellblasters. I don't know, I seem to enjoy getting my firepower out of Dreads at the moment. I mean, there's definitely something to be said that Dreads are very, very strong in the current meta. You know, the -1 damage is kind of huge. And the fact that they can also Wisdom of the Ancient to get like whatever rerolls, if they in a clutch, if they really need specific rerolls, they can get that as well. Will Dukari be Andrew's 25th army? I mean, they might be, and 25 is not that big an exaggeration. Yeah, I mean, I think he has like 10 armies now. Andrew actually bought 10 more knights this week, I think. So he bought 10 Forge World Knights. I don't entirely know the list that he's trying to make with them, but I guess because the little knights are the little knights are OBSEC now, he felt that like having a bunch of them is actually better than having too many big knights. So he bought 10. Like, they're not armigers, but they're basically the Forge World equivalent of armigers. They have like lightning rods on them. Someone in chat probably knows what they're called, but he was telling me about it and I was like, wow, Andrew, you're crazy. I honestly don't know how he doesn't paint his stuff to the same standard as I paint my stuff, because I was going to say I could never keep up with him in terms of like the amount of stuff he buys versus the amount of painting it would need. But then yeah, I do go to a much higher degree of painting than Andrew, I guess. Are Primaris Death Company any good? No. I mean, are they any good in terms of like casual play? Sure. Are they good in competitive? I'd say no. I mean, they have a very decent number of attacks, Primaris Death Company. In fact, they probably have the most attacks out of any unit that we could field in 9th. So you are getting a shitload of attacks. The problem is that they're just walking across the board really slowly, and their Forlorn Fury is pretty lackluster as well. If Primaris Death Company get jump packs, and maybe they get the option to carry more than 1 Thunderhammer in a squad, then they're very, very attractive. But until that happens, I don't think Primaris Death Company are competitive. I mean, you could put them in an Impulsor and it would be okay. I mean, that's the best way I could see of using them, but I really just think it would be okay. Like, I don't think it would be strong, because they're just chain swords, and once they've come out the impulsor, they'll just, yeah, they're just not mobile enough for me. Blood Angels really thrive on mobility. It's one of our key... It's possibly the most important thing that we have is our mobility. And it's probably, like, you know, I've been playing Blade Guard for a while, and, like, when I play the Blade Guard, honestly, the biggest weakness the Blade Guard have is that they have no mobility. And Blade Guard are going to be a lot more survivable than Primaris Death Company because they actually have like a 2-up save and a Storm Shield. So yeah, I haven't even bought a box of Primaris Death Company, honestly. I mean, I've got like a bunch of sets of what is it, Indomitus? So I've probably got like 30 Assault Marines from Indomitus that I haven't made because I made like 10 Assault Intercessors and was like, why would I need more than 10 of these guys? So I've got like 30 Assault Intercessors, which I could, and I also have like loads of spare Death Company bits. So like tomorrow morning I could literally get up and make probably like 15 or 20 Primaris Death Company, but like I just have no motivation to. I just don't see I don't see what role they fit in the battlefield. They're much slower than the Firstborn Death Company. The one additional attack really doesn't mean anything, and comboed with the fact that you can't equip all the weapon options like you can on the Firstborn Death Company, and obviously no jump packs, I just don't rate them. So if you're gonna spend some money, please don't buy Primaris Death Company. I think it's the wrong choice. I think you'd regret it. I think you'd end up putting them on your sidelines after like you'd play with them a few times because you spent the money on them, and then you'd find that they just get relegated to the sidelines, I guess. How would you deal with Death Guard running Contemptor Volkites? I mean, you have to hide from them as much as you can, and then if they're running Contemptor Volkites, then they're crap in close combat, so deep strike in and kill them. And if you've got any of your own Volkites or any of your own Dreadnoughts, charge them. DTM a bunch of Maraxes, that, by the sounds of it. Yeah, I think that was it. I think that's what they're called, DTM. He bought like 10 of them. I want Death Company with jump backs. That's the whole reason I started Blood Angel as well. At the moment, you have to buy Firstborn. 10-man Assault Hellblaster Squad just kills anything it shoots at, but too expensive and slow moving to fit into an army for me. Yeah, I mean, I guess a 10-man a 10-man how many shots does a 10-man squad get? 30 2 damage plasma shots. I mean, it certainly sounds very attractive, and I guess even with -1 damage with that many shots, it doesn't matter. I guess just the problem is, how do you deliver them? And I guess they're also not, you know, they are just 2-wound Marines, so they are pretty easy for your opponent to kill. And I imagine if you have that many Hellblasters, they just become bullet magnets. Like, your opponent isn't going to let you have that many Hellblasters moving around the table. Yeah, I mean, I suppose you could reserve a 10-man Primaris Death Company. Would that be a thing? How many power level is a Primaris Death Company? I imagine it's probably like 10 or something, so it would cost you 2 CP to reserve it, and you could just reserve it for 70 chainsword attacks. I mean, that sounds fun. And I guess in that sense, that could be an okay / valid stratagem. Stratagem. Got stratagem on the brain. I built my Death Company Intercessors as Assault Intercessors to provide more variety in the table. That's probably right. Like, if I bought Death Company Intercessors, I would have probably built them as Assault Intercessors, but as it happens, I actually got a lot of Assault Intercessors from trades from Indomitus, because I got basically 2.5 boxes of Space Marines from Indomitus, because a few people wanted Necrons, and I had some other things to trade as well. So, yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Like, why would anyone run? Does anyone actually know, like, have you guys actually ran Primaris Death Company? I was going to say, does anyone actually know anyone that's ran this? Because I remember last year at Christmas time when they released the Primaris Death Company, I almost was telling people, like, you know, like new players, like, just don't buy it, because like you're going to regret it. And then a couple of people bought it and were like, how do you make this work? And I was like, and then they were like, yeah, okay, I regret this. I wish it was possible to attach a chaplain to the Death Company unit, share movement, charges, etc., but they fight and do litanies like normal. You know, you used to be able to attach a chaplain a long time ago, didn't you? Alright, I'm going to do some null oil washing here, I think. I'm on to the washing stage of this dreadnought, because if I don't start washing it, I will never start, I think. Lamartez... I mean, Lamartez works with regular Death Company. I don't know if he works with... I actually don't know if anything works with Primaris Death Company. Like, I just don't know how you run them. I mean, if you want to run an impulsor, not an impulsor, a repulsor, and put a 10-man Primaris Death Company inside a repulsor, I mean, you could at least deliver them off the bat on the battlefield, but the repulsor, I don't know if it's survivable, or I don't think it's survivable. If I were to buy Forge World Blood Angels helmets with the new Primaris Death Guard models, would people cry over it, or do they have entirely different weapons and are useless due to that? You want to put Blood Angels helmets on Death Guard? I don't get why you're trying to do this. But if you explain it to me, maybe I can answer your question better. Alright. I'm going to wash all the metal on this guy. Give him a little bit of depth. Finally. I'm going to be pretty liberal with this wash as well, because on the metal I kind of don't care. I just want it to look like it's like rusty and tarnished a bit. Death Company. No, I mean, if you want to put random heads on your Death Company to make them more unique, I put different heads on my guys all the time. I was building incursors, and I really wanted to put beaky heads on all the incursors. So I mentioned this in chat like last week, and big shout out to Mick, I think Mick Kingston, because he sent me 5 beak heads. I have them right here actually. So because I previously put the 5-man squad of incursors I had with beak heads, I really wanted to sort of keep the style going, but I didn't have enough beak heads, because I don't even know what box you particularly get many beak heads in. Maybe like an old Vanguard veteran box or something. So Mick hooked me up on Facebook. I need to send him a couple of things back. I think he was looking for some Sangre Guard heads, but yeah, like I think if you want to do custom heads or anything like that, you can totally do it. I don't think anyone's got a problem with that. I mean, people wouldn't probably even notice, to be honest, if you have a different head on some of your like Death Company Marines or Assault Intercessors. Unless you point it out to people, people aren't even going to notice, honestly. Or people do, you know, people that did notice would probably say, oh, that's a cool conversion you've done there, you know? Like, no one's going to be upset by that, I wouldn't have thought. If they ever come out of a Primaris-sized drop pod, maybe that would help. Yeah, I mean, the Primaris range is still quite strange, isn't it? Where it's like, you have some really good Primaris stuff, you have a bunch of useless stuff, and then you also have a bunch of stuff that's like half-baked still. Like you said, Primaris drop pod springs to mind. Like, why is there not such a thing as a Primaris drop pod yet? Why is there not such a thing as like a good Primaris transport that just transports 10 Primaris Marines? You know, like at the moment you've either got the repulsor that's like super overcosted so nobody takes it, or you've got the impulsor that only transports 6. So yeah, there's like the Primaris Marines are weird in that sense. Like, they get some things going for them, and then they get some things that are just like I said, like probably half-baked is the best way I can describe it. Good evening, Scott. How you doing? Creative and variety offend me. That's why I play 40k. Yeah, no, you're fine to do custom heads and custom weapons, or yeah. I mean, we were talking the other day because Kev was actually asking me about my Blade Guard veterans, and he was like, "Are those the standard Blade Guard veterans that come in Indomitus, or did you buy like the multi-part kit?" And I was like, no, they're the standard ones, but what I did was I cut off their arms. I cut off a couple of their arms and replaced their arms with like Sanguinary Guard arms. So because the Blade Guard veteran's sword is essentially an Encarmine sword, right? It's the same strength 5, it's the same -3, it's the same 2 damage. So I cut off a bunch of my Blade Guard veteran arms and gave them Sanguinary Guard arms, because those swords that the Sanguinary Guards have the little like these little wreaths that I'm painting on the legs, you know, like the little angel wings, I guess. So I did that, and because I was using like Firstborn arms, they're quite a bit smaller than the Blade Guard veteran arms, so I needed to do something about the shoulder pads. So I actually went on like a Bits website and bought some Blood Angel specific Terminator shoulder pads to use, so that they kind of don't look like dinky little shoulder pads and arms, because if you've seen the Blade Guards, they have quite big shoulder pads. So basically, like, the idea was to make a conversion that was kind of different, I guess, but also basically I was just trying to make my Blade Guard veterans feel like they were more part of my faction, right? Because the ones you got in the Indomitus box were very generic, I guess would be the best thing to say, right? How would you go about gluing loose leaves onto a base, PVA or super glue? Leaves, as in like... Usually PVA is what people use for bases, Sushi. But I don't know what you mean by leaves. Like, you've got like some sort of like leafy terrain texture, or you've actually like... You cannot be talking about like leaves from an actual tree or something. You must be talking about something that I'm not quite familiar with. If you are talking about leaves from an actual tree, then I actually have no idea, because I assume you've bought some sort of leafy material that you expect to be able to Green World loose leaves. I would have thought it was PVA. I really would have thought it would have been PVA over super glue. It depends on the super glue. Like, so I use Gorilla Glue and I love it, but so I use this Gorilla Glue, I'll show you. I think it's really, really good. It comes out like a gel, it sticks super quickly, but when it dries, it leaves sort of like a white residue around where it dries sometimes. So like, for example, if you were talking about like, would you use that for bases? I would be like, no, because I used it on the flight stands and like it frosted up all the flight stands, which maybe isn't a problem. Like, I don't care that my flight stands are frosted up. I mean, but some people might, right? Some people might like being able to see through the frosted, see through the flight stands. But like, if you use that glue on the flight stands, they'll basically all go like, they'll just all get tinted, like, and you can't see through them anymore. What's the best way to reach out for a potential collaboration? Says Mega Miniatures. You just need to email me. You can get my email address, or you can PM me on Discord. I don't think I have like private messages blocked or anything like that. So Discord's probably the quickest way to get me, but you could email me as well. My email address is over on the About page of YouTube, but I mean, the Discord link is in the video description. Probably just hit me up on Discord, bro. You know, lots of people PM me all the time. I do try and respond to every message. I don't always get to every message quickly, but I do try and respond to every message. I don't know if you were here earlier in the stream where I said that me and my wife are having a baby on Tuesday. So, Blade Guard shoulders come in the Blood Angels upgrade pack. I think the shoulders that come in the Blood Angels upgrade pack can also be used on... they can also be used on aggressors. I think the aggressors and the Blade Guard may share the same shoulders. Yeah, okay, so the Blade Guard do use the Gravis ones. Yeah, I was right. But, I guess one thing to say is, like, if you do use a Blood Angels Terminator shoulder pad, it's super similar to the Gravis ones. I think you can make that work as well. If you know the box that you can buy, like the Close Combat Blood Angels Terminator one, and it comes with a bunch of Blood Angels specific shoulder pads. They're totally good for Blade Guard as well. If you want to use something like Sanguinary Guard, Zappa-Gap it's called. Okay, I've never heard of Zappa-Gap. I've been using this Gorilla Glue for like 2 or 3 years, and you buy it like in a hardware store, like in I don't know what a hardware store is called in America, but like a store that sells like tools and stuff like that. That's what we call it in the UK anyway, a hardware store. And yeah, if you're in the UK, I highly recommend it. I mean, it's kind of expensive, $5-6 for a tube, whereas like normal super glue might be like $1 or $2, but I think it's well worth it, and it lasts a long time. I think I've had this. So I've been back in this hobby about 3 years, and I think this is my second tub of Gorilla Glue. So I want to say, and I've done some big fucking Forge World models, like huge Forge World models. My actual other Relic Contemptor, I used so much glue in that because I magnetized like every fucking weapon option. I don't know if it was a great idea to magnetize every weapon option, but I did it. Mega Miniatures expecting a second boy in March. Congratulations, dude. So yeah, if you've already got one kid, you know how difficult it is to have a kid, have a job, and have a YouTube channel. But yeah, please reach out to me. If we can't do anything now, I will make time at some point in the future. I'm totally happy to do that. And we can talk about anything, you know? Or we can, I'm sure we can figure out some sort of collaboration. That'd be cool. I'm really pleased with how YouTube's gone this year. I'm a bit worried, you know, with the baby coming and stuff, because I might not be able to put out as much content as normal for a few weeks or even a month if we get stuck in the hospital for a month. Or I won't be stuck in the hospital, but my wife will be, and I'll be looking after a 2-year-old. And trust me, I really can't make YouTube videos when I'm looking after a 2-year-old. But yeah, I'm hoping to continue into the new year and like build the channel from strength to strength, because the channel's been going really well. But yeah, it's just going to be a little bit tougher. In the south, it's normally called a lumberyard. Oh right, so you actually in the south you name it after like a building out of Command and Conquer. That is cool. I used to love Command and Conquer. Prices for tools are tough. I think almost spent €600 so far, and I haven't even painted a single miniature yet. Bloody hell! You need to just start painting. If you've got that much to do, I almost want to recommend that you get onto almost want to recommend you get straight onto like texture paint. This stuff's like £6 a bottle and it's worth a try. Zappa-Gap. Alright, so I hope there's an airbrush included in the €600. Yeah, I mean, like, what else have you spent €600 on? Wow. So what is everybody doing tonight in terms of hobby? Is anyone working on something interesting, a conversion? Is anyone working on Reductor Dreadnoughts or Contemptor Dreadnoughts? Because I do think it's only a matter of time before the Contemptors get nerfed, right? Because, like, they're just very good, I think. I don't think there's anything else to say about them than, you know, like I was playing Knights last week, and like 45 inches away or something, you just have one Contemptor Dreadnought unleash the Volkite cannons, and it's like 10 wounds to a Knight. And I mean, 10 wounds is not huge, I guess, when you're against a Knight, right? Because they have like typically like 24 wounds. But this is a 150 point model, 45 inches away. Kind of safe as well, because he's 45 inches away. and it's a single turn. You know, so it's like if he can kill a knight in 2.5 turns by himself. He's a 155 point model, and like the knight can't even really reliably shoot back at him, and even if he does, Contemptors don't get profiled, right? So like if you're on 1 wound left, you're still hitting on 3s, you're still shooting at maximum range. I mean, I don't know, I think Contemptors are the one thing keeping Space Marines competitive at the moment, so I don't know if we I don't know if I should be complaining too much, but I do enjoy them. Black Templifying Redemptor says Podger is working on Redemptor. Robert is also working on a Relic Contemptor. Magnetizing both arms for 45 troops. How do you actually say that? Is it troops or is it like troopes for the Dark Elder? You're a disgusting man if you're magnetizing 45 Dark Elder models. I need to get more games against Dark Elder, I really do. I kind of want to just buy a Dark Elder army, like commission it to somebody so that we have like a Dark Elder army that can just get played on the channel more often. Mike the Great Angel is building a Chapter Master using a Dawn Eagle jet bike. That's an interesting one. Matt is working on 15 incursors. Can't decide if I want the Blood Angels upgrade shoulders or the ones from the kit and use the transfers. I mean, what have I done with my incursors? Incursors only have a single shoulder pad, don't they? Because one shoulder pad is like unarmored essentially, or a smaller piece of armor, I guess. What I like to do sometimes is put like a sergeant model. Like give the sergeant a cooler shoulder pad and then like sort of leave the rest of them with like their stock and just do transfers. I don't want to use the infiltrator heads. I want to use infiltrator head. I don't want to do skin and hair. That's why I've been working on getting beakies. Did you ever teleport your Terminators in? What, the GT I just played at, I think I teleported my Terminators in every game. I think I said that in the video I made about it. I gotta find some 3D print my Volkites. You can find Volkites on eBay if they're not in stock on Forge World. Yeah, I mean, like they're on eBay. They're not the cheapest. Like I think people are selling them for like $8 a Volkite. But Ledoy Furio says, "What models would you suggest to start building a Blood Angels army?" I did a slide. We have a podcast that comes out every Thursday over on the other channel that I'm on. It's called 3 Grots in a Vox, and I actually made a slide on how to start Blood Angels for that podcast. This week it's coming. The episode will be coming out next Thursday. Yeah, so a week today. I'll show you my slide real quick, but I'm not going to talk about it because it's going to spoiler the podcast episode, right? So you can pause it. I don't know how to say your name, sorry. I'm just going to call you Leo. So I'll show you my slide real quick, Leo, and like I said, you can pause it, you can look at the slide, but it's coming out in the podcast next week. So there's my slide. Get started for Blood Angels for 1,000 points, and I kept it like under $200, $175. So what you wanna, I'll put a link in the chat, and you can follow over my other channel. 1 second, and like I said, we have a new episode coming out on that channel every Thursday, give or take. And this week we were actually talking about starting Blood Angels, like how you start Blood Angels on the podcast. There's a link in the chat to that channel. So if you hit subscribe, you know, this like each episode is an hour to 90 minutes long. We talk exactly on like how we would get started, what we would spend, why. We talk about fluffy lists, we talk about competitive lists. So yeah, you can check that out. And people like the 3 Grots in a Vox podcast. Yeah, people really love the podcast, actually. We had some super nice comments on the podcast, and somebody said something like, one of the nicest comments was, "This podcast feels to me like it could be the Top Gear of Warhammer 40,000, you know, like just the 3 of us having fun, insulting each other, talking about random Warhammer things. So yeah, if we didn't really know what the goal for the podcast is, like when we started it, we just wanted to have a really fun podcast, and if people watch it, great. Because people asked a bunch of times when we did those tier list videos if the three of us could start some sort of podcast, because they really enjoyed the tier list videos. So the goal was to just try and start something. If people love it, great. If people don't love it, you know, it's not the end of the world. But that comment on the fact that, like, someone said we could be the Top Gear of 40k, I was like, wow, that's a very cool comment, and also that kind of gives us a goal of, like, if you know, because I drive a piece of shit car, honestly. I've had it for about 7 years. I spend no time on it ever. Like, I rarely hoover it. For me, a car is a car that takes me from A to B, right? You know, I never get in the car, I never drive down the street and think, you know, I wish I was driving such and such or whatnot. I drive a terrible car. If you guys, I know I've got a lot of you guys follow me from America. My car is like 1.6 litre engine. It's terrible. You put your foot down to the floor and, like, you have to, in like 10 seconds later, the car will accelerate. It's literally terrible. But, like, I really enjoy Top Gear, right? It's a great show. I could watch Top Gear all day, every day. So, you know, if we can do a podcast where people maybe always, you know, they're maybe not always super interested in this week's topic or armies or whatever, but if you could just sit, chill out, grab a beer, enjoy the show, that would be very cool. So, yeah, we're going to keep putting out one episode every 2 weeks and see what happens. The amount of dreads in chat right now is pleasing me greatly. I mean, it's hard to not get on board with dreads at the moment, isn't it? Because you look at all the top tournament Blood Angels lists. Every tournament that I see, well, not even Blood Angels, Space Marine lists. You know, it was like a Death Watch list that came second at the LGT, wasn't it? And, like, his list, I think, might have been 4 Dreadnoughts. I think it was 2 Redemptors and 2 Contemptors, right? And then, like, you look at my list that, I mean, I got to the top table. There was only 2 players at the entire event that went 4-0, and I was one of them. My list was 3 Dreadnoughts. So, if only Volkite is back in stock. It comes back in stock, like, every week. Because quite often what happens on the stream, actually, Jose is, or Joe... You guys all have names that I can't pronounce. I'm so sorry. I was always a C student at English. Being in Scotland, we don't really... English is not how people talk in Scotland. You know, when we're talking, we cut everything with slang and stuff. So I was always a C student in English, so if I pronounce anyone's names wrong or get it wrong, I'm sorry. I'm just not good at speaking English. Mikey Bishop, thanks. Good evening. How you doing, Mikey? Hope you're well. Marcus is stripping a Redemptor and painting it Black Templar colours. I love Blood Angels, but I bought some Black Templars in a moment of weakness. Reminds me, if only working with Black Templars and Sieges Cetera. Could you not paint the Death Company Dreadnought? Could you not do what I do and paint the Redemptor black like it's Death Company and give it like a red X? So it's like almost like it's Black Templars, but also it could be played as Blood Angels? Or I'm sure you could work out something there. So you could get double use out of this Redemptor, Marcus. Will the podcast end up on Apple Podcasts? I think it will, Robert. We are working on figuring out how to actually release the podcast in audio format. One of the guys was, I think it was Tony, was looking into it. So at some point we will probably figure out how to release it as an audio, as an audio only thing, I guess. For the moment we're on YouTube though, and I guess we'll probably continue to stay on YouTube, so we can, you know, if you like to watch it, you can do that too. But yeah, I think we will figure out how to have it on mobile devices or whatever devices you commonly listen to podcasts on. That is something that we want to do. I'm up to 40 dreads now, says Tex. Have you shared a picture on Discord of 40 dreads? Have I missed it? I mean, I haven't been in Discord much this week. What with being on run up to Christmas, my work has, like, my day job has been super busy, and also with this, the fact that we're having a baby next week has not really let me much time to be in and around Discord. I've been converting my Black Templars into Blood Angels. I can't give up on Blood Angels in their time of need. Atlas, you are a champion. Thank you for continuing to love the Blood Angels. I want to do a Blood Angels painting contest at some point, and I want to give away some sort of models or something for this painting contest. I think now, like, the channel's big enough where, like, well, we just passed 8,000 subscribers, which is awesome. And we're still growing a little bit every day. I don't know if we can get to 10,000, but that's what I would like to. 10,000 to me feels like that's like my goal. If I get to 10,000 with this channel, I will be very happy with that. But I think with 8,000, I think where we are now, we can easily do some sort of Blood Angels painting tournament competition, sorry. So we can have some sort of Blood Angels painting competition on the channel, and we can give away something. I haven't quite worked out the details. It's probably going to be a little bit away because of this baby thing that I'm dealing with right now. But after that, I wanted to give away, because I gave away some, like, I commissioned somebody before, another YouTube channel actually, to paint some Blood Angels models, and we found some pretty unique stuff, like third-party sculpts that we're thinking of doing as well. So we'll get, like, some third-party models commission painted. He'll do a video on how he paints them as well, and then what we'll do is we'll have a Blood Angels painting competition. Because we got, I mean, 8,000 subscribers. We got a good amount of people that could enter for a Blood Angels painting competition now, right? Maybe we'll get, like, Mark and Tony to help me judge it. And that's something that I want to do in the near future. I haven't quite worked out when yet. But I mean, if you guys have other ideas of things that we could do that would be cool, you can let me know. Good evening, Burgosaurus. How you doing? You speak Scottish, not English, like I speak generic American, like TV hosts. Yeah. I know. Here's the thing I was going to say to Kev. I don't know if any of you guys watched the game against Kev on Tuesday night. Some of you definitely did. And I actually think Kev didn't play the Elder badly. I just don't know if Elder have the most competitive codex right now. Or at least the units Kev takes aren't the most competitive right now. And I've played as... I mean, he made some mistakes, and I've played him a bunch of times, so I kind of feel like I've got Kev's number. I know how to beat him. But regardless, what I was going to say is, hello lads. Hello Oscar. I appreciate that, Texan. I mean, yeah, I guess if you, like, if you tune into the channel, like, next Friday and you're looking for a tactics video and it's not released, I guess you'll just know that I'm a little bit indisposed. But I am, I mean, I already made tomorrow's video. It's already uploaded. It's ready to go out tomorrow. And you know, I do have a plan of the future videos that I'm going to make for the channel. So, like, I'll be trying to do my best to keep content coming. Just it might be a little bit less than normal. So anyway, what I was going to say was, yeah. So I'm sure most of you guys have seen it because you guys are pretty clued up and pretty on the ball with Warhammer stuff in general, right? And if people haven't seen it, what it is if you know Henry Cavill from, like, the Superman movies, and I'd love to see some What Happens Next from you, for example. What do you mean by what happens next? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Mikey, but I mean, I can do videos on whatever. It's fine. Yeah, what do you mean by what happened next? yeah, so I'm sure some people have seen that there's a photo of like Henry Cavill on the set of The Witcher 2? Or not The Witcher 2, The Witcher Series 2, right? I've never played any of the Witcher video games, so I know literally nothing about it. But I did see a photo of Henry Cavill on, I think, the set of The Witcher 2, and like he like tagged it like he's oh, that's an interesting idea for what might happen next. How to tackle an alpha strike against Swamp first turn, but actual scenarios and what you do next. Yeah, I mean, tomorrow's video is kind of that, right? So tomorrow's video is me looking at like my battle against the Tau and like how I handled that and how I beat them at the GT. And I've got videos lined up for AdMech and Orcs and all sorts, right? So, but yeah, what happens next or how to deal with certain situations. This is an interesting video. How I would deal with it, yeah. We could do that. DTM says, I love third-party stuff. This weekend I'm printing off some 3p Chaos Spawns and some 3p Demon Princes because official models feels kind of ugly and not in a fun way. What do you mean by 3p? Like 3 pence? Like they're that cheap to 3D print? Or I'm not sure what you mean by 3p, DTM. Right. Hold on though. Let me think. Yes. Henry Cavill, aka Superman, aka the Witcher guy, aka the Custodes player of 40k, right? So you can probably, someone could correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I heard on Google that well, not even Google, just I'm pretty sure I heard on the internet that Henry Cavill is gonna be like Connor McLeod in the next Highlander movie. Could you maybe make a video on speeding up your games? 2.5 hour games for tournaments and chess clocks is still tricky. How have you managed it? Huh, that's an interesting video as well. Yeah, why not? Let me write that down, Mega Miniatures, because if I don't write it, I will forget it. Speeding up your games, your play for tournaments. Okay. He should play Dante in a 40k series. So happy I managed to subscribe to the Imperial magazine because now I have an excess of Assault Marines that I can now convert into Crusader squads. Love a saving. He's not old enough to play Dante. He is definitely not old enough to play Dante, but he's going to play Connor McLeod, right? Which is a Scotsman, and last time I checked, he wasn't Scottish. And Scottish accents are funny. And if you guys know, I'm literally from the Highlands of Scotland. I've lived here my entire life. I know I'm in the Highlands of Scotland because literally every time I try and buy anything online ever, they say, we're going to charge you more because you have to get... Because you guys probably don't know this if you live elsewhere, but if you live in the Highlands of Scotland, if you want to pay... You go to a website and they're like, it's $3.99 delivery. When I go to a website, it's $12.99 delivery because they just say like, oh, you're in the Highlands of Scotland. Since it's so far north, we're just going to charge you more to deliver it to you. That's how that works. Here in the UK, you get like a, what is it, like a member of parliament? The member of parliament for this area has been fighting these companies all over the UK for like for probably like 5 or 10 years now. Maybe not 10, at least 5, to try and introduce fair delivery charges because we just get screwed up here. Because, I mean, the trucks do have to travel a bit further because it is the Highlands. But yeah, the cost is not justified. They just slap the cost up because they can, because we're up north. So yeah, where was I going? So Henry Cavill is going to play Connor McLeod, who is a Highlander. And what's very strange about Mel Gibson was the Scot. Mel Gibson apparently took lessons on his Scottish accent from Sean Connery. And I actually don't know if Sean Connery's Scottish accent the Scottish accent is quite strange, right? Like, I don't know any Scotsman that speaks like Sean Connery does. You know, like, he almost like, he had, like, when he used to do that, like, if you think of him in James Bond, and, like, he was like, hello, Miss Moneypenny. Like, no one I know speaks like that. And he also kind of, like, almost, like, swallows his words, because it's almost like, yeah, I can't do a Sean Connery accent at all, but what I can do is I can, yeah, gentleman Scot. Yeah, maybe that would be how you describe Sean Connery. But what I can do is I can speak a lot of Scottish phrases, and I can, I do know what the Highlander should sound like, being that I am from the Highlands. And also, another strange thing about Highlander, if you've ever seen the Highlander movie, Sean Connery is the Scotsman in that movie, but he plays the Spanish guy. And Christopher Lambert, I believe, is French, right? I mean, maybe he's not French, but I want to say I'm like 90% sure Christopher Lambert was French. So the Frenchman plays the Scottishman, and the Scottishman plays a Spanish man. And I guess, like, Clancy Brown plays the Kruger, and man, I love Clancy Brown in that movie. Clancy Brown was in Clone Wars. I don't know if you guys have seen Clone Wars, like the cartoon show. Clancy Brown was Savage Opress, who was like Darth Maul's brother. And I actually thought Clancy Brown was dope in that. Like, I love Clancy Brown. He was in something else. I think he was in the Warcraft movie as well. I don't know if he was as good in that, but he was really good. We felt like every region had a little different accent in Scotland. Yeah, they do have. Every region has. Jeff Bezos is too busy going to space to listen to my letters, Benjamin. Yeah, so he's going to be the Highlander, and I think that it's okay. I mean, in the original Star Trek, I don't know if you know this, but in the original Star Trek, like way back in the 70s, the guy who played Scotty was actually Canadian. And then in the reboot of Star Trek, Simon Pegg, who played Scotty, was English. Scottish accent was okay, but like, I mean, I guess they have to Americanize the accent a little bit so that like people can understand it. But yeah, I'm not sure about like Henry Cavill being the Highlander. I don't know. Like, I haven't heard a Scottish accent, and what I think I need to do, because Midwinter Minis already challenged Henry Cavill to a Warhammer game, right? And he never responded to Midwinter Minis, I guess. So he's even less likely to respond to me. But what I really want to do is challenge him to a game and tell him like there can only be one. And in true Scottish, if you're going to say there could only be one, you would say something like, there can only be one and it's nae you, pal. Because that's how they speak. Like, nae, almost like a horse says nae. You is just how you would text you, and then pal. That's what you would say. You wouldn't, you know... Scottish is a... This is why I can't spell, and this is why I can't pronounce people's names, because in Scotland... every word gets you get cut down. I forgot Clancy Brown was in Shawshank Redemption. You're right, Revan. He was the guard, wasn't he? That like almost pushed. He almost pushed him off the roof when he talked about the money, the inheritance or whatever it was. Wow, I have not seen Shawshank Redemption in like 20 years. I'm glad you said that. I need to watch that movie again. I completely blanked that he was in even that movie. It's kind of weird how that happens, and that you see a movie so long ago and then someone says something and you're like, oh shit, yeah, he was in that. But yeah, Henry Cavill is the Highlander. Like, what's people's opinions on that? I mean, I guess I haven't watched The Witcher. Were there a lot of good sword fights in The Witcher? My wife watched it. I don't know. I watched the first episode, and because I hadn't played any of the video games, I literally no fucking idea what was going on. So I just, if a TV show like loses me in the first episode, I'm very yeah, I just didn't try it again, I guess. Like, maybe I should have given it another shot. Maybe I still will if there's a second series, because obviously some people thought it was good enough for them to make a second series, but yeah, I never got through the first episode. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe it was... You sound a wee bit disappointed with him. Have I seen The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen? Yes, I have. The movie or the TV show? Because they were both, right? But again, this is, like, I do not, like, 15, 20 years ago, Texan, my memory from that... I did a lot of drinking when I was, like, in my 20s, so my memory from 15, 20 years ago is bad in general. Unless Queen are releasing the soundtrack for the Highlander movie, it will suck. I loved the soundtrack from the original Highlander movie. Do you know what you don't get? They don't make Hollywood soundtracks like they used to, do they? That would be dope though if they got Queen to do it again. Because they had this song at the end, like I Wanna Live Forever. That was such a good song. Did they do all the ambient music for it as well, or did they just do like the actual songs? But yeah, Highlander was the original Highlander was such a good movie. Even though Christopher Lambert wasn't Scottish, I guess he has the worst Scottish accent of anyone in any Hollywood movie ever. I don't even think he sounds remotely Scottish. Good evening, Steel Rain. How are you doing? We were just asking if you think Henry Cavill will be good in the Highlander movie. Just a heads up, getting a second series doesn't mean it'll be a good show. I mean, I guess that's right. The Witcher sword fighting, I think you mean in choreography, had been highly praised. Watched some videos about it. Choreography is like when they practice the fights and it's all snazzy and good moves and stuff like that, right? You want to see Henry Cavill play a Warhammer game more than me? Well, here's the thing, right? We both play armies of gold. Like, literally half my army is gold. So Henry Cavill plays the gold Custodes. I play the golden Blood Angels. Henry Cavill has this $1 million deal, I assume, to be the Highlander. But I feel like if I can beat him at 40k, then I should be the Highlander. I mean, I am from Scotland. I do have the right accent. Or I could put on the accent, I guess. It'll be really yeah, I mean, I would invite Henry Cavill up here. I would pay for his plane ticket. I would kick his ass, and then I would say to him on stream, there can only be one, in a good Scottish accent. How would you do that? It would be like, there can only be one, pal. Yeah, whenever you do an insult in Scottish, honestly, like if you're out on a night out and someone says like to you like that, sort of like, pal, that means like, pal means friend, but pal said like that means like, you're in big trouble right now, you know? Highlander doesn't need a remake. It really doesn't, does it? What they should do is they should redo all the special effects. Yeah, there was a sketch by There was a sketch by a Scottish comedian when he said like he got shouted at a train station at the middle of the night when it was like he was waiting on the last train or something, and some guy came over to him and he was like, "Give me a quid, pal." And yeah, like it's just, although it means like friend, like when you say it like that in Scotland, it means like I'm about to fuck you up, basically. Dave Bautista is the Krugen. I don't know who they could get as the Krugen for the new one. Have they cast the Krugen in the new one? Like, has it actually been cast? So I watched, so I love 80s movies. I've spoken more about them on stream and stuff, about just how much I love 80s movies. The soundtracks, some of the premises, like the films are just simple, they're not overcomplicated. You know, my favorite movies from the 80s are stuff like Die Hard, Terminator, Predator, Highlander. Like, all these movies are brilliant, right? I could watch these movies on repeat almost. And Terminator 2 got like a 4K remaster, and when I was a kid, like, we watched Terminator 2 on your little 14-inch TV. You know, like, that was state of the art back then, 14-inch TV. You watched it on VHS, which is like, what, 320 by 200? I think VHS quality, if you Google it now, VHSs were 320 by 240. That is the quality of a VHS. But because you're watching on a tiny little shitty TV, it felt okay, right? So you're watching... I watched Terminator 2, like, I don't know, when I was a kid, it was one of the movies I had. I want to say I watched it like 30 times, 40 times or something. One of my favorite movies. Probably shouldn't have been watching it as a kid, but I was watching it nonetheless. It was one of my favorite movies. And I watched it for the first time probably in 10, 15 years. And I watched the 4K Blu-ray. And like halfway through the movie, like when Arnold comes in and he's butt naked, you guys know the scene, you know, the music comes on, Bad to the Bone, da 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 da, and fucking Arnold walks into like the pub for like the scene where it's like, I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle. I actually just laughed out loud at that point in the movie, and like the people I was watching it with were like, are you laughing at naked Arnold? And I was like, no, I'm laughing at the fact that I've seen this movie like fucking 40 times and it just looks so good. Like, it looks like a different movie. Like, this is my favorite movie, and it's just like the 4K remaster must have been from like the original. They must have had the original film or something and just remastered it. It just looked brilliant. So like, yeah, they're gonna make a new Highlander. I guess that's okay. I mean, Hollywood are going to reboot everything that they think can make money, but they could always go back to some of these other movies and just like remaster them and redo the special effects. And I don't think people, I mean, I think that would work too, right? Best movie from the 80s was The Hitcher. I have never seen The Hitcher. What's that about? And I'm surprised. Terminator 2 was great. Robert Patrick was such a great antagonist. Yeah, Robert Patrick was actually the shit as the T-1000, wasn't he? He's one of the best bad guys in movie history ever. And he like said like no words. I mean, apart from like the one time in the movie when he goes and asks like, call for John. I mean, that's like all he said in the entire movie. I'm part of the Scottish Clan Mackenzie. Those Clan Mackenzie black and white tartans look sick, not so much the red ones. I did not know you were part of a Scottish clan. Cool. Good evening, Reziel. How you want to do? Was wanting to ask you about if you use any type of webcam for your streams. I mean, I did use a webcam before. So I use my iPhone for my overhead camera, and at the moment I'm actually using a Canon M50 Mark II as the camera that's looking at me. But I did use a webcam before I had that camera. And honestly, it was like a 20 quid Microsoft webcam. How you see Hero Quest is the older new one. Yeah, it just came this week. W40K tank. I did an unboxing video on Monday. I mean, it's pretty cool. I haven't played it because it just came this week, but it's got way more miniatures than the original from like the 90s. I think 91 or 89 the original came out. That's why I bought it, because I had the original. But yeah, so it's got way more miniatures than the original, and yeah, I mean, overall it seems very cool. But the unboxing is up on the channel. If you go back in a few days, you should be able to find it. Maybe if you just click like recent videos or something on the channel. Excuse me. I had a bit of a strange scratchy throat for a few days now. When I came off stream on Sunday, and obviously on Sunday I talk a lot on my stream because we talk about other people's army lists, and I just had like this little cough that I couldn't get rid of for like a few hours. What's the time? 11:30. Alright, I got a bit of time tonight. maybe like another 20-25 minutes. I do have to work tomorrow, so I'm going to go to bed at midnight. I hate the culture of remastering. Innovation is less than money. Do you mean when you hate the culture of remastering? Like, the Terminator 2 remaster for me was brilliant, right? Like, it took a movie that I loved and made it probably better than it ever looked in the cinema. I'm okay with that. I mean, I was okay with paying $25 for it. What do you mean by remaster? Like, because they do sometimes a remaster can be okay, but reimagining is also... I mean, that's the problem. Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Peter says, "Hey John, tomorrow I'm going to be playing a 2,000 point game for the first time in a tournament. After consuming hours of your content, I'm feeling pretty good about it." Nice, Peter. So, do you mean you're playing your first ever 2,000 point game period, or you're just playing your first ever 2,000 point game in a tournament? But good luck in your tournament nonetheless, Peter. I hope you do us proud. Oh, thank you, Brevin, so much for following. I appreciate that. I hope you do us proud, and also let us know on Discord. Like, I like it. I like to hear. I mean, you don't have to. If you get humped at the tournament, don't feel like you have to share it. But if you do well, and you did well because of some of the videos you watched, I'd love to hear about it. Some of the nicest comments I've ever had on this channel are from people that have watched a bunch of videos and gone to a tournament, and then one guy said that he never played a few of the factions that he ended up at the tournament against, and he won the friggin' tournament. So yeah, like stuff like that kind of, you know, if considering how difficult it is to win games with Blood Angels at the moment, hearing success stories is really nice. I think everybody enjoys hearing them. I paint the old one at the moment. The minis are 30 years old. Yeah, I quite believe it. I mean, the minis are from the early 90s, right? But I actually really liked the minis from the original Hero Quest. I have like a photographic memory, and I still have memories of like the original Hero Quest sprawled out on my bedroom floor. Like, we didn't even play it on a table. We just played it on the floor. And you got those little character sheets and stuff, you know, where you store your gold and your spells and stuff. I liked the original Hero Quest a lot. It was a simple game, but also a really fun game. I'm trying to figure out future camera setups. Oops, I missed that. So Reziel says, "I'm trying to figure out future camera setups. If I could have live streamed, I wouldn't have missed any time making content on my channel. As it is, I'm going on a month with no video." Well, I mean, before I bought this camera, I did a lot of searching for like cameras that are good for YouTube. And this one I think is pretty good. It actually has a 4K setting as well. I'm actually just running it on 1080p because if you live stream in 4K, you can't like not have the chat be laggy. And what I mean by that is, like, if you want to live stream in 4K, when people chat, you don't see it for a few minutes. And it's kind of pointless, I think, to live stream in 4K anyway, because most people are just going to watch it like on their phone or in 1080p. So I mean, I can link you this camera and I can tell you the things that you need to buy to make it work, but I mean, it's certainly not a cheap camera. But I mean, if you're trying to get started on YouTube, what I'd probably say is the first thing you do is any money or anything that you can make, you put towards camera equipment, because, like, yeah, I mean, I feel like my channel jumped a lot in terms of quality when I got a good camera. I mean, the old camera was fine, but do you know what? I watched a couple of your videos. I didn't think I had any problem with your camera. I guess the question is, can you just plug it into your computer or get like some sort of capture card to do like that? Mega Miniature says, do you think we'll see any Sangre Guard soon? Do you think we see new Sangre Guard soon? I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's a bunch of other chapters that are going to get fixes before Blood Angels. I think we might have to wait to 10th edition, honestly. I think we might get some buffs though, because like overall in tournament stuff we've really been underperforming. So in chapter approved this year, I hope that we get some points cost drops, because last year it just seemed like everything that you used that was good just went up in points. So I'm hoping to see some point cost drop, but am I hopeful for new models right now? I think Mega, like, you saw the giant Black Templars release. I feel like they're gonna do, because we already got our codex. I really think we're at the back of the bus. I think like Ultramarines are gonna get stuff. Dark Angels already got their codex. I don't know if Imperial Fists have had anything this edition. I don't think so. So you're probably gonna see like Imperial Fists and Black Templar. Black Templars just got Imperial Fists. Maybe even like Salamanders might get something. Iron Hands probably need to get something. So yeah, as much as I'd like better Sanguinary Guard, I think we have to wait. Marcus says you're going to win the next GT, John. Marcus, you're too kind. I will try my damnedest to do better than essentially second place. But, I mean, I've never been to a top table in a GT before, so I was really pleased to make it to the top table. It didn't... Honestly, I think the first time you make it to the top table, you're probably never going to win the game. I was too nervous. And I put the pressure on myself. But I put the pressure on myself because I wanted to, like, come onto the channel and be like, hey, I want a GT. So maybe if I hadn't put so much pressure on myself, I'd have done better. But you know what? It's fine. I'm happy how I ended up at that tournament. I learned a lot, and you know, next time maybe there'll be a little less pressure because I already failed once. And I always say that you learn more when you lose than when you win, right? So I lost one game. I learned some stuff. Try not to make the same mistakes again. Try and learn. Try and move forward. My first ever 2,000 point game. I've been playing for a couple of years, but always lower point games. I think your channel has a large part in keeping me in the Blood Angels all the way to 2K. Well, good luck, Peter. Just take your time. Think about your turns before you do anything. That's one of the things that I've probably learned the most recently, right? When it's your turn, before you move a single model, before you activate a single buff, take like 1 minute, step back from the table and sort of try and think, what am I going to achieve this turn? What can I achieve this turn? Because I think if you do that and almost walk through it in your head, you know, like, all right, this model's going to shoot them, that'll probably kill them, or it won't kill them, so I'll need something else to shoot them. So try and take like a minute. Sometimes you can take longer. I mean, if you've watched some of my games on stream against Andrew when I was fighting his Orc list, we were playing like the Orc list, we were playing on chess clocks, and at one point I think I took 7 minutes. So I just sat for 7 minutes at the beginning of my turn and did nothing. And in my head, I just went over like a bunch of permutations, like, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, because I really want to win the game, right? So, you know, my biggest advice, if you've never played 2,000 points before and you're going to a tournament, I think it would be try and take a minute before you start each turn and try and think of your goals for each turn. And, yeah, definitely think about it that way. I have one camera that is also my everyday phone, amazing quality phone, but I need more. I mean, yeah, you could buy a cheap webcam though, Rezio. That might be a way to get started. Or see if you have like a family member's phone you can borrow, because you could stream. You could stream using 2 phones, I guess. And then maybe buy your own camera. OK Tabletop says, paint job is looking great. My local game store is wrapping up Crusade. Currently playing Necrons. We start in January. I'm taking Blood Angels for the first time. Just a few more to paint. Awesome. I love hearing about people running Blood Angels. That is what it's all about, isn't it? This paint job is starting to come together. I've spent a lot of time on this. But I think... I don't know, a little bit of washing here and there. Like I said, I usually go for battle ready styles. So, yeah, this paint job is coming together. Exo7, good evening, how are you? we're not mentioning any leaks so far. Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard anything new about Blood Angels for a while. I'd like to hear something, but I'm just not expecting it. I'm really expecting them to do all the chapters that still haven't been done. And then, after they've done all the chapters that haven't been done, maybe we can keep our fingers crossed for something. It's a really tough one, though. Like, you know, I generally don't think we're as weak as tournament scoring is showing us. But then I don't run the all melee lists, and I don't like the all melee list like right now. I do think it's a bit weaker. I do think it's much harder to play. So if you are running like a all melee list and you're struggling, then I can see why, because I mean, I'm not playing it because I can't run it effectively. And I feel like I play Blood Angels to pretty high standards, so no, I understand why it's a tough. I think it is tough to be a Blood Angels player right now. Space Marine not getting anything significant for a good while. Elder up next. Chaos Marines are going to dominate the first half of the year. You're probably right. Imperial Fists need some help. You're definitely right. I mean, Imperial Fists need some help. I heard rumours of Blood Angels Necron box a couple of months ago, potentially coming Q1. I did not hear any of those rumours. Are Contemptors core in Blood Angels like they are in Death Guard? Yeah, Contemptors are core. I mean, I assume you mean Relic Contemptors, but yeah, Relic Contemptors are core. That's probably one of the reasons that they get run so much. I mean, I don't know if they lose that much when they're core. If they're not core, because you can still give them +1 to hit with a Tech Marine, and I mean, I do run that, so... I mean, I guess you lose a little bit if you're running multiple of them. If you don't mind... Yeah, DM me any questions you have about camera equipment, it's no problem. I'm more than happy to help. And I do want to get you on the stream at some point, Rezio, for once we figure out a stream we can do together. You'd be welcome to come on my stream for sure. I've had other smaller channels on, and I figure there's plenty of people on YouTube to watch videos, so I'm happy to share some. I'm happy to share some of your stuff on my channel at some point. Thank you for the advice. I will keep this in mind. Yeah, good luck tomorrow. Cheers, Rob. Thanks for hanging out. What video editing program do you use, Rezio? I really like the gold trims when you highlight it with right-click flesh shade. It really gives it sort of like a goldy, brassy, red feel to it. I just really like it. I've done all my Sangwari Guard and my Vanguard Veterans and that way. Or this way, I guess, not that way. I feel it's quite appropriate. That's why I want to play Mr. Henry Cavill. Blood Angels in gold versus Adeptus Custodes in gold. Maybe, you know, like Midwinter Minis was nice to him on his video. Like, he was like, hey, Henry Cavill, come play a game against me and we'll film it and it'll be fun. Maybe I need to be the opposite. Like, yo, Henry, I heard you played guys in gold. Well, I have the definitive army that is in gold. Look at them here. I bet you your role in Highlander that I will crush you on the tabletop. The Sons of Sanguinius are not scared of the Custodes in any way, shape or form. And then when he does come and play me, I'll just null zone him and just kill him. And then it'll be game over. Have you checked out the Citadel Masterclass for Gold Armor and Warhammer Plus? It looks so good and not impossible to do. Do you know what? I have Warhammer Plus, but I'm really guilty of not watching enough of the content on there yet. And I think that is actually a problem with me in general, in that, like, most of the free time I have, I make content from YouTube, so I actually don't end up watching that much video content myself. But no, I haven't checked it out. I probably should. But at the same time, as much as I should check out, I already have like my entire army in gold, already all painted, and they all kind of match. So even if their way is like better, I'm probably not going to do it because my guys already match, right? I don't want to suddenly have stuff that doesn't match. I'm very particular about my stuff matching. You sound like Gold member from Austin Powers. I mean, Mike Myers was trying to be Scottish in Austin Powers, wasn't he? Get in my belly! My wife wants to play Henry Cavill too, or so she says. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe play is the wrong word here, huh? Have you tried Drukhari Violet over gold? It gives an aged regal look. Do you know what? I haven't tried Drukhari Violet over gold. It's not a paint that I actually own. I mean, I have a lot of paints, but Drukhari Violet is not one that I own. So I use Reichland Flesh Shade, and I've used this now probably since the beginning of 8th, and I kind of like it. I think it looks good over gold. I mean, maybe it gives a bit of a lighter gold than the Drukhari color, but like most of my color schemes are pretty simple, I'd say. I'm a kind of a battle ready painter, so it probably works with the simplicity that I'm going for here. So yeah, this guy has come on a lot tonight, actually. I have a couple of like wings here on this leg that I missed. I don't know why I didn't paint them when I was painting all these other wings, so I'm probably going to paint those. Probably got a little bit of tidy up to do around some of these other bits here. Sometimes when you're painting the wash over, so like I like to put down like the gold first, right, and then paint the wash over. Sometimes when you get like a nasty tide mark, because that does happen, right? And I could see that there's a tide mark here where like the wash is just like kind of, it's not gone smooth, it's gone sort of tidy. What I like to do is just get a little bit of the gold paint and just mix it with the wash again and just sort of like try and clean it up like that. And that's, you can almost pretty much get rid of the tide marks and also keep the same color to a certain extent. I mean, maybe I could save my time by just mixing those paints to begin with, but I don't do that. He does elevate nerds a little. He almost passed on Superman because he was in a WoW raid. I heard that on. He was in that on like in Jimmy Kimmel. He said he got a phone call and he didn't pick it up because he was raiding in WoW. Man, I would love to play him at 40k. I don't know. I feel like I would stomp all over his custodes. But then I only played a few different Custodes players, and one of them was Andrew, and Andrew's lists are always like, I'd say they're very meta lists. So sometimes they can end up being quite one-dimensional because like Andrew will try and go after a stratagem that's like, or a strategy that's like, in some cases broken, but like my Take All Comers list will usually be able to deal with it. What kind of music do I listen to in general? Everything, man. Maybe not so much pop music. Yeah, it's the purple shade. I've seen it before, OK Tabletop. Maybe I'll get some, but I guess my problem is going to be that like a bunch of my models already match a specific color style, so it's going to be difficult for me to just up and drop it, right? I think I've done a couple of videos where I wear like a Metallica t-shirt. For a long time, Metallica were actually my favorite band. I like punk. I like rap. I really like I think Rage Against the Machine were really one of my favorite bands. They only did 3 albums, which I was always sad about. I don't class the album that they did that was covers as an album. I mean, Guns N' Roses did an album that was covers, but I don't really class that as a Guns N' Roses album either. So yeah, I don't know, classic rock, hard rock, a bit of rap, a bit of like rocky rap, like Rage Against the Machine, or but like I can sort of enjoy most types of music, I guess. What was playing in my car? Bowling for Soup. My wife likes Bowling for Soup. I mean, I've got some of their... We've probably got country. We don't really do country music here in the UK. It's not really a genre that like ever gets airtime on the radio, like ever. Yeah, it just doesn't get it. So what's the difference between country and classic rock then? Like, because I know there is a bit of a difference. I used to like Stained, and then the guy that was the frontman of Stained went and did like country music, like he changed genre completely. I think he's maybe still doing it, right? But yeah, I don't think country really gets any airtime in the UK. So like, if you turn on the radio, you would never hear country music. Unless there's maybe a specific station for it, but Joe, I'm starting to feel this Redemptor. A few weeks ago when I was doing him, I was like, oh, this guy's taking forever. Doesn't feel like he's progressing. I'm sort of feeling that he's starting to feel like a decent paint job. It's got a bit to go, but it's starting to feel like a decent paint job. I'm gonna wrap up in 5 minutes, guys. It's 5 minutes to midnight. Johnny Denver is apparently big in Germany. Okay. I don't think I've ever heard a Johnny Denver song. Do you know what? What's the guy? Who's the guy that Johnny Cash? I guess is that country? I mean, I've listened to some Johnny Cash, some of his more recent albums, like he did a bunch of cover albums before he died. I like that, and that's sort of like modern rock with a country twist, right? Is country just like classic rock? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like country is just as I say, it doesn't get any airtime here in the UK. I thought it was just like rhythm guitars and drums, and a little bit more chilled. I really don't know. I don't know how. Please tell me how you classify country music to someone that literally knows nothing about it. I guess it's something that didn't make it across the pond, or whatever you want to call the Atlantic Ocean. I love Rage Against the Machine. Do you know what? I had not listened to a Rage Against the Machine album in so long, and I copied the third album, The Battle of Los Angeles. I copied it into my car, and I hadn't listened to it in forever. And I actually saw Rage Against the Machine live one time. And they were legitimately, like, they were bouncing when they were live. And like one of the songs came on, it wasn't Testify, because that's the big song. I think it was like Calm Like a Bomb, and I was like, oh my god, I love Rage Against the Machine. Why did they only ever make like 3 albums? Because they were so good. Country is garbage. It tends to be a way of living. Modern country is shit. Okay, Johnny Cash is country, but not really similar to modern country. I mean, I could listen to Johnny Cash, right? I guess most people could probably listen to Johnny Cash, but yeah. I think as I've got older, my music tastes have mellowed a little bit, because, you know, like, really fast rock or metal was sort of what I was really into for a while. But, I mean, I can still listen to fast metal. I just don't choose to listen to it all the time, which is what I did before, I guess, right? Okay. I'm painting a tiny little bit of white to end the night, and then I think next time we come back we're going to be doing Agrax Earthshade wash on all the red bits on this guy. I should be able to stream Saturday. I might not be able to play a live game on Monday because of might have to quarantine myself for like 48 hours before the hospital thing that I have to go to on Monday. They said that they were going to do like a COVID test on my wife, but I don't know if they're doing one on me. I assume so, because like I'll be in the surgery, or I'll be in the wherever they're doing the surgery, I'll be there, so I assume if she needs COVID tested, I will need tested as well, just to be super safe. Manowar? Wow, we're going old school. I have listened to Manowar, but not for a long time. Iced Earth, there's an old one for you. Have you listened to Iced Earth before? I haven't listened to them in forever either. They're maybe a bit more chilled than Manowar, to be fair, though. Very few punk rockers are still punk, and it's sad. Do you know what? I like Billy Talent. I don't know if you guys have listened to Billy Talent. I think I used to like stuff like Green Day, but then they all changed. And I used to like the Offspring many years ago, like Smash for Offspring. Smash was a brilliant album. The stuff Offspring do now, I really don't know about. But you know what? Smash was one of the first sort of punk albums I listened to, and I loved Smash. I think that was 1994, so I would have been 11. Iron Maiden I still listen to. Do you know what? I love Ghost of the Navigator by Iron Maiden. You know that one? Judas Priest are still #1. Iced Earth is like 2001, yeah. Some tracks don't go away, but some tracks do, eh? I respect 70s metal, but it's not quite my favourite. I do love the Sword quite a lot, though. That's my style. I think I saw Metallica, and the Sword may have been a support for them, Rezio. I feel like that might have been a thing. I also saw Metallica when Machine Head were the support for them, which I was when I saw them when like when it got billed like Metallica supported by Machine Head. I was like, oh wow, because I kind of thought Machine Head were like big enough to do their own tour and shit. But yeah, that was probably the best support band I ever saw was Machine Head, and they played for like an hour, and they played like all the like I don't know if you know Machine Head, like Halo was one of the songs. Fuck, I've not listened to that song in like 10 years. But Halo was a good song. I mean, it was one of the best support bands I've ever seen, I think. Alright, let's call it a night. I got some brushes to wash. I gotta go to bed. Thanks for hanging out, guys. As I said, if you don't see me as much this next week or two, I will try and get videos out. But because on Tuesday we're having this baby, things will be a little bit tricky. I'll probably mention this in a community post this week as well, just so people know if they wonder where the fuck I am or if there's no video. And yeah. Have a great night, guys. Thanks for the chat. It's always interesting. Always find some random tangent. Highlander and old school 80s music was tonight's random chat. Yeah, thank you. I really hope surgery goes well as well. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I've heard a lot of positive stories about people who have had babies that have had problems when they're born and they've turned out okay. So wishing that we will have the best as well. So cool. Have a good night then. I will see you probably Saturday night. I'll be streaming. I'll probably come stream some painting on Saturday night, make a little bit more progress with this Contemptor. He will be ready for a GT again soon, I'm sure. Alright, good night guys. Thanks again for watching. Appreciate the support as always. Talk to you guys soon.